Hello and welcome to Healthy Mind, Healthy Life with your host Avik. This podcast is all about exploring the latest research, sharing personal stories, and providing personal tips for improving our mental health and well-being. Each episodes will be joined by experts in the field of mental health, as well as individuals who have experienced the transformative power of a healthy mind firsthand. Together, we will dive into a range of topics from managing stress and anxiety to building resilience and cultivating happiness. So, join us on this journey to discover new ways to take care of our minds, bodies, and souls. And let's work together to create a healthier, happier world one episode at a time. So, let's get started.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Healthy Mind, Healthy Life, the podcast where we explore the intersections of mental and physical well being and also how we can thrive in our everyday lives. I'm your host Avik, and today we have a truly inspiring guest with us today, Jonathan Young. So, welcome to the show, Jonathan.
Thank you, Avik. It's nice to be here.
Lovely, lovely. So, Jonathan, before we start our conversation, I would quickly love to introduce you to all of our listeners that Jonathan is a former financial executive who made a remarkable transformation in his life by prioritizing his health and well-being. So, after losing over 30 pounds and maintaining a balanced lifestyle, Jonathan discovered a new passion for helping others achieve their health goals. As a dedicated health coach, Jonathan guides individuals towards healthier lives through introspection, strategic planning, and the daily healthy habits. So, join us as we dive into Jonathan's journey and learn essential health tips for professionals navigating in the new normal. So, welcome to the show again, Jonathan.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here, and thank you for that introduction.
Great, great. So, Jonathan, to start with, if you can share a bit about your journey from being a financial executive to becoming the health coach. So, what inspired this transformation?
Sure, absolutely. So I live in New York City, and I've worked in financial services for a number of decades.
Yeah.
I've raised family in the area as well, and as I think a lot of people know, that financial services can be extremely stressful, and it's not always the most conducive towards healthy habits. It's very fast-paced, it's very pressure-driven, and it's very easy to access the wrong types of foods, the wrong types of habits. And I think it's no secret that over time, especially as we begin to age, that catches up with us. And for me, it happened about 5 years ago. And I've always been a runner. When I was in my 20s, I ran marathons, and I've always enjoyed physical activity. So 5 years ago, after spending decades in financial services and raising a family, I tried to come back into running, had a little more free time, and I swiftly hurt my back, amongst other things. So I sought out a few professionals who quickly patched me up, but then said quite simply, look, you need to lose some weight, and you're not getting any younger. And they introduced me to a community of wonderful coaches and choices that I followed ever since. And as you mentioned, I lost 30 pounds in about 3 months. But more than that, I gained a whole new community of like-minded coaches and individuals, a really terrific community that reinforced this need of daily healthy habits. So from that point, 5 years ago, I decided not only that I wanted to take care of myself, but I wanted to pay it forward, lead by example, especially for my own family, my kids. I wanted to set a good example, and I've been coaching ever since. And it's brought me a lot of satisfaction because not only do I meet incredible people, but it reinforces the decision to take care of my own health.
Understood. Understood. So, how did the pressure and demands of your career contribute to your initial health challenges? So, what do you say?
Well, first and foremost, it's the sedentary environment, sitting in front of a computer all day, lack of mobility. I think you can easily find a lot of statistics that compare our typical daily activity today versus hundreds of thousands of years ago when our predecessors used to be a lot more mobile and a lot more fit. So it's the sedentary lifestyle. But I think what that does is it unfortunately acts as a catalyst towards other bad habits, right? So not only are you sitting still, but you're eating lunch at your desk way too quickly while you're trying to meet deadlines. You're commuting home and you're not making wise choices when you get home in terms of your eating, as well as just your other habits, including your proper sleep hygiene, proper hydration. All of these really interrelate. And so I think it's just over the years of that poor combination of daily habits. And that's why I emphasize the introspection, because I'm really address, the way that you operate yourself day after day, nothing will change. You can sign up for any quick diet that's out there, and there are plenty of them. But unless you change fundamentally, you'll just get right back to where you were, which is not where you want to be.
Understood. So, okay. You emphasize the importance of introspection and the strategic planning in achieving the health goals. So, if you can explain like how these elements play a role in your coaching approach.
Of course. I mean, usually the easy starting point for my clients is weight, right? It's tangible, it's visual, it's something that is easy to focus on and set up goals that way. I want to lose 10 pounds, I want to lose 30 pounds, 50, 100, whatever the case may be. From that sort of quantitative target, you can delve into the more thoughtful aspects of why do you want to lose the weight? Like myself, do you want to get back into physical activity? Do you have an underlying medical condition? Has somebody been making comments about the way that you look and act? So we call it our why. What is the reason for wanting to lose these 30 pounds? As I explained, I wanted to get back into running. So it usually starts with weight, but what I emphasize is all of the other aspects that go into weight, right? Including something like sleep. I think now we're only realizing the real importance of sleep because it sets yourself up mentally for the day. Exactly. And if you have a target weight and you eat certain things throughout the day, you're either going to miss or hit your target weight. So sleep. So that's usually where we start, is with weight, but I really emphasize the interrelation of all of these other habits.
Understood. So, in your experience, what are some of the common misconceptions that people have about achieving and maintaining a healthy lifestyle?
I think the biggest obstacle that I've seen is lack of patience. And looking for the quick fix. Again, in our fast-paced society, we're bombarded with this diet and that diet and this quick fix, and people just want to get better overnight, and it doesn't work that way. My experience has been to take a thoughtful approach, again, that really talks to you as an individual. What are the things that you respond to? And how can we work with that to get you towards your goals in a reasonable time frame? It's not going to happen in a week. So I think that's, a major obstacle that we see today is just the prevalence of all of these diets and fads and ways to get it done quickly. My experience has been that they just don't work.
Okay. For the professionals who are struggling to balance their careers and the health, what practical advice would you offer to them, to help them get started on their wellness journey?
To get started, it all begins with awareness. And that's how I approach it with my clients is We sit down and we take a 15 to 20-minute assessment where I ask open questions about where they are, where they see themselves, and where they would like to be. So it's from that health assessment that we come up with a plan that fits into lifestyle, right? So what's good for a finance professional such as myself may not be good for somebody who is staying at home and raising a family full time and has young children that they have to pay attention to. So everybody's different. And what I always do is just, again, ask these open-ended questions designed to get into the life and goals and dreams of each of one of my clients and establish a relationship. And I've found that not only gets my clients towards where they want to be in terms of their health, but it actually has created a lot of really good friendships along the way. So it's been nice.
Understood. Also, like, how important is sleep hygiene in maintaining the overall health? Like, what are the tips do you have for improving the sleep quality?
It's funny. Sleep has become so talked about in the last few weeks and months. I think part of it is as you described, this new normal, this post-pandemic world. Yeah. I think we have such a new relationship with sleep now. And so I'm really glad that you asked that question, because as I mentioned a few minutes ago, I think proper sleep sets up everything else, right? And I've found that for myself. When I've had periods of little sleep because of my job, that's when I'm at my unhealthiest. When I am able to sleep properly, I not only feel good, but my body is responding and everything is just better. So to answer your question about tips, I think it is all in the routine. And there's a lot of talk out there about the nighttime routine, which I think are all valid, such as, reducing the time that you're on your electronic devices, maybe put down the phone an hour before you want to go to bed. Stop eating 2 hours before you want to go to bed. Stop drinking water 3 hours. I mean, there's variations on all of these, but I think the nighttime routine, if you gradually get yourself into a more relaxed state before you want to go to bed, that's always a good thing. But that's just the nighttime routine. I think good sleep actually starts when you wake up. And what I mean is, if you wake up and you immediately dive into a stressful day, you're going to be off balance throughout that day, and it's going to be harder to set up that nighttime routine that I just described. If you are thoughtful and plan out the day and are careful to schedule things the right way that leave you enough time at night, you'll sleep much better. You'll wake up. So that's my recommendations there.
Lovely. That's really, really lovely. Yeah. And also, like, you mentioned that the small, consistent actions can create a lasting change. So if you can give some examples of these actions, like how they can be incorporated into the busy professional's daily routine?
Absolutely. The small actions have to do, I feel, with being aware, as I've talked about before, and being conscious of every little decision that you make. And this can mean in the middle of the workday, you go to a meeting and it's an intense meeting, and maybe there's even some disagreements at the meeting, and you can feel yourself getting stressed out, and you just want to run to some sort of comfort food or something to make yourself feel better at the moment. What I promote and what the program promotes is this notion of pausing each time that you start to feel yourself, and this is where the awareness comes in, where you feel yourself reacting to a situation in a way that is going to cause you to make these bad habits. Just take a moment and stop, right? Just stop and objectively think about the situation at hand. Consider what's in front of you. One tip that I've been told by a lot of different coaches is keep a little bottle of water nearby, so that you can just do something healthy, even just take a sip. And that moment of pause will give the brain enough time to process things better. And you can redirect it towards a better choice. So it's all a matter of being aware and being conscious of your body's normal reactions, and adjusting where you need to.
That's lovely. Yeah. So,
It's not easy though.
exactly, very true. Yes.
Right. And that's where the coaching really comes in the relationships. I feel is that you cannot do all of this stuff alone. And it doesn't have to be a coach. I offer my services because I think I have something of value to share, and I realize that people cannot do all of these things that I'm talking about alone. But it really can be anybody you surround yourself with, right? Your family. Enlist support wherever you can get it.
Lovely. So, I mean, as someone who has faced and overcome the significant obstacles, so what message do you have for the listeners who might be, feeling overwhelmed or discouraged in their own health journeys?
I would say talk to somebody about it, whether, it's a coach like myself, a trusted family member, a friend. Talk about it. And a lot of times we have a lot of thoughts that run through our head in terms of how we're disappointing ourselves, especially with our health. And those thoughts do no good up here, because all that does is loop you to a cycle that's very difficult to break out of. But as soon as you talk to somebody about these things, and that person can again be a trained coach that knows how to ask the right questions, but even again just venting for a little while with somebody who you can trust will the auditory nature of hearing your words come out of your mouth and recognizing that this is really what you want to do. You want to get healthier. That in and of itself can trigger some action, and action really is the key to all of this. So I would say somebody who's feeling overwhelmed and doesn't know what to do, find somebody, spend 15, 20 minutes longer if necessary, and just talk about all of the things, because a lot of times these can also be very deep rooted. And, it may not just be a stressful job. It may not just be family members. It may be something deeper than that. And that's why you want to find somebody who you can really trust, because you never know what you're going to find as soon as you start to talk about it. But once you do, then you can really come up with a way to get yourself to where you want to be and make yourself happy.
Understood. Ooh, so lastly, where can our listeners find more about your work and get in touch with you for the guidance on their health journey?
Sure. I have a website. It's called greathabitswithin.com. greathabitswithin.com. And it just got some basic information. It talks about, the philosophy, the different habits that I address, and ways to get in touch with me. So that's the easiest way to do it. greathabitswithin.com.
Oh, that's lovely and perfect. So great. And thank you so much, Jonathan, for sharing your inspiring journey and the invaluable insights with us today. I'd love to mention that your dedication to helping others achieve their health goals is truly, truly commendable. And I'm sure our listeners have gained a lot from your wisdom. And for those of you who want to learn more about Jonathan and his work, be sure to check out the links in our show notes. And remember that taking control of your health is a journey, and it starts with small and consistent steps. So thank you for tuning into the Healthy Mind and Healthy Life. And if you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a review and share it with your friends and colleagues. Until next time, stay healthy and take care of yourself. So thank you so much.